name is Kim. I'm here to start you on a journey into the future of entertainment. It's a future where I am always at the center of a world of experiences that include my games and my friends. It's a future where my games are always personalized to match my desires. A future where those games connect me to the people and experiences I care about most. That future starts right here, right now. This is my Xbox 360. It's here, and it's on.
I've something special to share with you today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your new Xbox 360. Completely redesigned for the future of entertainment.
We're going to update the Xbox 360 console with a modern look and feel based on the Xbox One design. This is the new Xbox 360.
So, it's a relatively exciting, but also sad kind of feeling when a generation of consoles actually finally comes to an end. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it is now official that both the PlayStation 3 and now the Xbox 360 hardware have been discontinued as of this point. Now, the PS3 and the Xbox 360 have lasted an entire decade. That's right, an entire decade of really good games, really, really, really good memories. Specifically for me, I have memories on the Xbox 360. There's my wired controller right there. And I'm actually happy, but at the same time, I'm a little sad. And the reason why I'm a little sad is because I didn't think... It's not that I didn't think. I knew it was going to come eventually, that the consoles, the last generation consoles, the 7th generation consoles would end at some point. But I'm more so upset that the memories that I will have on the Xbox 360 are... There'll always be memories, but there won't be any new memories created on those platforms, and that's the thing that gets me a little upset about the whole thing. I mean, now we got the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and which I have the Xbox One. I don't have a PS3 or a PS4. I was gonna buy a PS4, but there's no point to buy a PS4 now because PS4.5 or PS4K, whatever the hell they're gonna call it, is coming out soon for a reasonable price of $4.99 or $3.99 or whatever the hell they were gonna charge for it. And I have a lot of memories on the Xbox 360. You know, I've played. That was the first time that I've played. Ever actually bought a Halo game was on the Xbox 360, which would be Halo 3. I got my Xbox 360 for a graduation present, either grade 11 or I think it was grade 12. Graduation present for grade 12, even though I had to go back half a semester to finish getting credits, blah blah blah, whatever. So I got my my Xbox 360 probably, I want to say, in about 2008, 2009 era, something like that. No, 2007. 2007 was the year that I got my Xbox 360. I got the standard, well, not standard. I got the Xbox 360 Elite, so the one that came with a 120 gigabyte hard drive, and it was the black console. This one right here, and it came with what did it come with? It came with Lego Lego Batman and Pure, like the ATV game, I think it was. That's what it was. And those were the only 2 games I had at the time, but I played the ever-living crap out of them. The third game that I ever got on Xbox 360 was Halo 3. I remember I went down to pre-used game store downtown in the town that I was living at that time, and I picked it up used, of course, because I know it was after Halo 3 came out. I can't remember if it was a year after Halo 3 came out or the same year Halo 3 came out. So let's see when Halo 3 came out, because then I'll be able to actually figure out the exact time frame that I got my Xbox 360. So let's see. September 25th, 2007. So yes, it was in 2007 that I got it, because I got the Xbox 360 September. No, maybe it was 2008. So it was just after the new year in 2008 that I got mine. So I had my Xbox 360 for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I had it for 5 years. No, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so I had, okay, yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. Yes, I got my first Xbox 360. Well, actually, no. 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I had an Xbox 360 for 14 years. No, that doesn't make any sense. 7 years. 7 years. Now I do, I still have an Xbox 360. I have the Halo 4 edition of the Xbox 360, the Xbox 360 Slim. The Halo 4 console is this console I'm talking about. I still have that one. I don't have my Elite anymore because I sold it to a guy around Christmas of probably just after. Yeah, because Halo 4 came out in November, so I sold it the end of November. My original Elite, the same year Halo 4 came out. I sold my Elite to a guy who was looking to get his Xbox for his brother for Christmas. So I gave it to him for $100, I think. Yeah, $100. I sold that for $100, and then I turned around and bought Black Ops 2 Hardened Edition. I think that's what I got. But anyway, many games that I found that I really liked: Dead Rising, Dead Rising 2, Halo 3, of course. Halo ODST was great. Just that's the generation, Xbox 360's generation, that I actually got a chance to really become the gamer that I am today, where, you know, I have my specific game types that I like to play, genres of games I like to play. You know, all my friends are established on some platform. Like, all that was done in the 7th generation. You know, I had friends that had Xbox 360. I had some that had a PS3. I did have a PS3 and an Xbox 360. Because I usually always have both. And I'm hoping to get a PS4, K, 4.5, whatever the hell it may be. I plan on getting one of those. And I also have my PC too, so that's nice. So that was the generation where I was actually able to find the games that I like, the ones who they show me a trailer of, you know, Halo 5 or you know, Dead Rising 3, when they showed the trailer for Dead Rising 3 for the launch for Xbox One. I knew right then and there that I was gonna like those games. So, like, that was the generation that I found what type of gamer I am, and I'm the type of gamer who is always looking for something new. So when a new IP came out, like Dead Rising, when Dead Rising came out and I played that for the first time, where you're in the mall, and Dead Rising, I think, came out, Dead Rising came out, I want to say 2006, yeah, 2006, so the fourth game that I got was Dead Rising, and I played the crap out of that, and then Dead Rising 2 came out, I think 2 years after that, or 3, so 2010. So I played Dead Rising, and as soon as they showed the trailer for Dead Rising 2, I was like, yes, like, I love the game, I had to get it. And then the same thing for Dead Rising 3, it was the same thing. I was like, yes, I'm getting it because I love it. And that was the first game that I got with my Xbox One, was Dead Rising 3. and I think I got Black Ops Ghost, no, Call of Duty Ghost or something. But that was the really the generation that I actually found myself, and, you know, of course the games, it was the last generation where developers had to take their time. Like, over time, the games got better graphically, feature filled, and all that stuff. Like, that was the last generation that will ever have games constantly improving from beginning to end. Because if you look at the beginning game footage for games that came out on the Xbox 360, like, they were beautiful, gorgeous at the time, but they don't stand up to the test of time, like, you know, like Halo 4 would, or Forza Motorsport 4, games like those. Like, those games will always stand up to the test of time, and of course it took developers, you know, multiple years to actually utilize the Xbox 360 hardware. And it'll also be the last generation where the consoles are more streamlined, but the Xbox 360 was actually more powerful than any PC at that time, in the sense that it was a dedicated gaming platform that was more powerful than the software side of things for PC, because there was PC hardware that was more powerful than the 360 at the time, but games couldn't really utilize the software until about Windows Vista, Windows 7. Windows 7 being the one where games really made a big push on PC. And it's just sad, because it's the last generation where we're going to see games get increasingly better, because now we have the PS4 and the Xbox One that are basically computers, but the developers make a game for the computer and then they just downscale, you know, anti-aliasing. They do, you know, they render the game at 720p for the Xbox One, 1080p for the PS4, and it's like you're playing it on a PC, so there's not really this learning curve, which is what was the most exciting part about the 7th generation, is because when developers would come out and show you a game, and it was better than the last, like visually stunning, better than the last game that they developed, it was just mind-blowing the difference between, you know, 2 years could make for one franchise. And that was the most exciting thing about the 7th generation, because you never knew what developer was going to come out with this visually stunning game that you didn't even think was possible at that time. And now that's so streamlined, like making games are so streamlined, and porting the games are so streamlined between each individual platform, that you don't see those big leaps anymore between each game release. Like, you will never see, you know, say like you'll never see Halo 5, like Halo 6 will come out and it won't be any more visually pleasing than Halo 5, in the sense that we're already in the HD era. The HD era started with the 360 for gaming, and we won't see this gradual grow of just better, faster, smoother, buttery smooth gameplay like we did in the 7th generation. And that's the thing that makes it sad for me, and that's what also makes me terrified for gaming these days, is because graphics and pixels are the main thing that people constantly complain about in the 8th generation of consoles. And back then, the 7th generation, we didn't really have to give a shit, because we knew the next game that's going to come out was going to look better. We knew every game that came out on those platforms were always going to be better than their previous game. And that was the most exciting thing. And not to mention all the new IPs that came out. Like, new original IPs, like original ideas. You know, all those things. Like, the gaming industry in the 7th generation went from $100 million entertainment medium to $1 billion entertainment medium. Like, it's never going to get any better than that. Like, in the beginning of the Xbox, like the original Xbox and the PlayStation 2, 100 millions a year, and then Xbox 360, PS3, billions a year for gaming publishers and developers and And just people, like, the gaming industry made $1 billion, more than $1 billion in the 7th generation. And I think people are taking what we have now for granted. You know, like, the fact that people go to the store, they pick up a game, they put it in their Xbox One, and every once in a while it might work. Like, people are taking what we have now for granted. Back on the 7th generation, they were still working out the kinks in the gaming industry. They were working out the kinks in the HD era. They were working out the kinks in the online service area. Like, now, not to mention, like, seeing software evolve over a span of 10 years on the Xbox 360 with the dashboard. Like, the Xbox 360, and I don't give a crap who you are, you could be the biggest Sony fanboy ever, but you can just see the ever-changing dashboard of the Xbox 360 led up to the point of what we have now. Because the PlayStation 4 has a dashboard interface, the Xbox One has a dashboard interface, and they can all update. Like, the competition back then was slim to none. Like, there was really no competition as opposed to, like, well, there was competition, but the competition was so good that you didn't even notice the competition. Because, bam, Microsoft had a new IP, bam, Sony had a new IP, and it was back and forth, and it was just so damn exciting. Now there's, like, Xbox has Halo and Gears of War, and Sony has Uncharted and Last of Us, and that's basically what they're doing all the time. And then, you know, you have Call of Duty, which is on all platforms, and it was just so damn exciting. Like, it was so exciting to be a gamer on the 7th generation because there was just so much going on all at one time. And now, the only thing that everybody really gives a shit about is pixels and resolution and all that crap. Like, that's what we have now. And that's the sad part because there's nothing really to look forward to anymore. Like, yeah, there's going to be, you know, Halo 6 and Halo 7. There's going to be Black Ops 4, probably. You know, there's going to be Call of Duty Ghosts 2, Advanced Warfare 2. There's going to be Battlefield 6. Like, you know, like, it's just... It's getting to the point now for me that gaming is starting to get average. It's becoming average for people to game. Like, you come home after work, you sit down, you play Call of Duty. Like, before, I remember on the 360, I would call my friends and be like, yo, what are you playing? And they'd be like, oh, you know, I'm playing the new Crysis game. And I'd be like, what's Crysis? And they'd be like, come on over and check it out. I'd go over, play Crysis, and love the shit out of Crysis, and go home and, you know, buy Crysis for myself, sit down and play with friends. And Halo 3, when that came out, it was, like, it was great. Like, now, I'm actually leaning more so towards PC because it's interesting because there's the mod aspect of games on the PC that the consoles don't have. And that's something that keeps it refreshed. Like, keeps my gaming needs refreshed. Are new mods, new texture packs for games, you know, HD texture packs for games, you know, and all these, like, new mechanics people come up with, especially Grand Theft Auto. That's why Grand Theft Auto on the PC is so popular, because all the mods, and, of course, online, like, it's just, now that the 7th generation actually has come to an end, like, the network services are still going to be on, whatever, like that, but as soon as those go, like, it's just going to be whoever, like, the competition will just be whoever can keep the most subscribers on their subscription models. Like, when the Nintendo NX comes out, they're obviously going to have a subscription model for their consoles, because if they don't, they're missing out on buckets of money for nothing, like Microsoft and Sony. So when the Nintendo NX comes out, you know they're going to have, already know they're going to have a subscription service for their network. And that's not a bad thing. Depends on how they utilize it and stuff like that. But it'll just seem like whoever can keep the most subscribers on their network and who can sell the most, you know, first-party titles and who can sell the most third-party titles on each console. It's just going to be a race, basically, to see who can sell the most consoles. And it's not going to be about the going from standard definition to HD. Like, yeah, you know, we have 4K now, but 4K, like, you need a big enough TV to actually, for 4K to really matter, as much as people say, no, that's not the case. But if you have a 65-inch TV that's 4K, and you have a 65-inch TV that's 1080p, you're going to notice a difference on that. But if you have a 4K TV that's 24 inches, 32 inches, and your 1080p TV that's 24 inches, 32 inches, whatever, you put them side by side, you're not going to notice unless you press your face right up against the screen and try to count the pixels. That's the only way you're going to notice, because on the 4K you probably won't be able to count pixels. But it's just, you have to realize just how important the 7th generation of consoles was, and will always be. Is because it rushed in the new era of HD, it rushed in the new era of great IPs, it rushed in the era of billion-dollar entertainment medium, which is the gaming industry. It rushed in so many good developers, so many creative people, so many of the greatest commercials, so many of the greatest advertisements, and it was also the generation where, you know, the female gamer was born, like, where girls were like, hey, like, we game too. Like, if you will go back and watch the original Xbox 360 launch at E3, 2005, I believe, or 2003, I think it was. Like, you will see the difference between what it was back then to the end of the gaming, or the end of the 7th generation. Where gamers were just gamers. There wasn't none of this, the demographic between the ages of 13 and 34 for boys who are the ones who are always playing games. And, you know, they built the Xbox 360 and the PS3 around everybody. Like, there was something for everybody. And what Microsoft's biggest problem with the Xbox One is that they wanted it to be for everybody, but they focused on the everybody and not the gamer. And that's where the thing went wrong. And, like, you got to give a lot of props to Microsoft for their support in the gaming industry, because without them, the HD era wouldn't have came so fast. Like, the selling of TVs wouldn't have came so fast. It's because they were pushing so hard with the HD, and they made their console so, like, affordable. They were losing $200-$300 on each one of those consoles. The console was like $399 or something like that when it first came out, as opposed to the PS3, which was $599 when it first came out. So that's why, like, they sold so many like, so much hardware, the Xbox 360s, because they're like, we need to get HD. Like, HD is the new thing. Like, we got to push this out. If we take loss, whatever, we're going to make money back on the sales of, you know, Xbox Live and first-party titles and hardware accessories and all that jazz. And that's exactly what they did. They accomplished their goal in those 10 years. And you got to give them props for that. Even if they failed on the Xbox One, even if you think that they're the scum of the planet, that they failed miserably with the Xbox One, you got to give Microsoft credit that they are the reason why the 7th generation of consoles was so good, because then they pushed Sony to do even better. Now look at them. Look at Sony now. If it wasn't for Microsoft in the 7th generation, Sony would not be this heavily in the gaming industry with the PS4, because the PS3 was a flop. You gotta every third revision of a corporate or a company's console hardware is always gonna flop. The same thing with the PS3. Same thing with Nintendo's third console, which would be technically they had more than one flop, because they had the GameCube flop, they had the Wii U flop, they had the Wii flop. Not like they did okay, but they weren't just successors like the N64 and the NES and the SNES and the Game Boy and their handheld hardware. Like, it wasn't just, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I don't really consider Nintendo Nintendo part of the 7th generation in a sense that they brought something new to the table. Don't get me wrong, they did in a big way. Like, they were the reason why my grandma was playing video games, was because of Nintendo back in the 7th generation. But they were also stuck in their own little world like they usually are. And so far, the Nintendo NX seems like they're going to go more streamlined. So even with Nintendo, there's not really much excitement from there other than, oh, like, wow, we want to see Nintendo have a hardware, a console that's actually as good as the PS3 and the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One. So, like, just knowing that the 7th generation is actually starting to come to an end, with the hardware being discontinued, and probably not much longer after the hardware is going to be the software that will be discontinued. I say by 2020 the Xbox Live on the 360 will be shutting down, because they're not going to want to pay for it. They're not going to want to maintain the servers. There won't be anything to do on there anymore. Like, they won't be able to continue going forward because of their hardware limitations. But man, did they stretch the hardware out in those consoles so long. 10 years. 10 years those consoles were going, and they're still going strong. So you got to give a big props to Sony and Microsoft in the 7th generation. I thank both both companies for the great games, the great hardware, the great memories, and I hope that gaming brings something new to the table each and every year in the 8th generation. It hasn't been so far, nothing too exciting other than VR, but VR is also too expensive for the average consumer at this point in time. When they do lower the prices, people will probably jump on board depending on the initial reaction as it is right now. But time will only tell with virtual reality VR like the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive and all those jazz. But anyway, thank you both Microsoft and Sony for your PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for everything you did on the 7th generation. Thank you for pushing the boundaries, pushing my favorite media entertainment to the masses, just billion-dollar industry, and hopefully we'll never, ever, ever see that billion-dollar industry tank like it did before. And as always, I'm Masculine. Post your memories of the 7th generation down in the comments below. Hit the big red subscribe button, thumbs up this video for more. And as always, I'm Masculine. See you guys in the next video.